Everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of October 10th through the 18th of 2021. And I'm extending this particular forecast, if you will, into Monday the 18th because we've got notable movement with the planets. Let's start first, though, with Saturn. Saturn has been retrograding for the last couple of months through the sign of Aquarius, and it is having us revisit certain areas in our lives that need to be mastered. Maybe we've been tested internally. Maybe our strength and our fortitude and the things that we feel we can truly be proud of have been challenged over the last several months. And it's been a lot of internal work because when a planet is retrograde, it's closer to the Earth. We are made of Earth and stars. Therefore, we're going to feel the effects more internally. Now, just as a reminder, the planets don't make us do anything. However, our highly sensitive nature, if we're tuned into energy at all, we can feel the effects of these planets as they lead up to their exact aspects or stations, retrograding directions, that sort of thing. And so we're dealing with Saturn, who says, okay, here's some internal responsibilities that we have been looking at. What am I responsible for? Mastering my own energy? Because Saturn is about mastery, right? It's like the teacher that gives the exam, not necessarily to say pass or fail, but to get a good indicator of where we're at in our lives on a spiritual, personality, mental, emotional level, and to be able to bring in situations in our lives that we need to work with, that we need to be able to internalize when it's retrograde and say, okay, here's a situation or here's an issue that I am a skill even that I've learned how to do, and I need to be able to do it more masterfully. So the universe brings in a situation that we get to practice these skills. And now with, with Saturn stationing direct on October 10th, we have a chance to start seeing the fruits of our labor. And we start to express it externally now of saying, these are the things I've learned. This is what I'm wanting to do. And this is how I'm going to do it. And any weak spots that need strengthening, they're going to show up. And I get a chance to practice the skill of making it better. And it's like going back into the laboratory, so to speak, when the planet is retrograde and we're mixing and we're having all these experiments and we're, recording data, things like that. And now that Saturn is going direct, we're going to be looking at this from, hey, this is what I've learned. Let me see how it shows up in the world. Moderation and caution in sharing our ideas and long-range plans are really appropriate during this time. And remember, Saturn deals with time. So we're going to, it's going to take time for things to really start to manifest. Very rarely with Saturn involved do we see things immediately. Just depends on the aspect and what's happening in our lives. Now, the other thing that we're going to be hopefully doing is that we get to show others, hey, these are the things that I've been experimenting internally, I've been wrestling around with. A lot of us may not have shared some of our fears or our worries because Saturn can bring that up. Maybe some of us have been dealing with some depression. And so now we're ready to say, hey, I just want to share with you what I've been dealing with. And I need to know who I'm safe with in order to do that. Saturn needs a lot of safety in order to express its positive side. When Saturn feels threatened, it can get cold, it can go internal, and it can really bring out the more depressive, cautionary side, that fearful side. So what we're working with now that Saturn is stationing direct is that we're looking at, okay, I've done this internal work. I've maybe worked through some fears and insecurities that I've had. Now I want to show and even test. And how do we test? We just have to try some things out, make a decision, adjust along the way, right? We want to show courage. And this is where also, remember, we've got Sun and the Moon and Mars were canoodling at the new moon, and the Sun and Mars are still dancing together this week. And so we can find extra courage and strength and vitality in which we can start sharing, hey, these are the things that I've learned, or these are the things I'm working on mastering. And with the Saturn being in Aquarius, where it is at home, then we can find the people, the support, the strength we need from others to be able to share it, test it, and get feedback. And I think that's the thing that we're going to be looking at this week in particular, as Mercury is still retrograding and it is making this trine. It's a loose trine and then it gets exact again with Jupiter. So it's going to expand our minds and our ability to be able to share what it is we're learning or what it is that we are wanting to continue to strengthen in our lives that we're doing really well. I offer this to a lot of people when I'm doing coaching and stuff, and that is that if we can at night maybe list our accomplishments and then in the morning read them, it helps to strengthen the things that we do really well. That isn't to say that we orphan or we neglect the things we don't do well. It just means that the things that we need to strengthen or we need to develop, we can bring in a support group. Saturn in Aquarius loves the support group. It loves to have a group mentality that says, hey, I could do this on my own, but it'd be much more fun and easier if I have, you guys to help me out, or to give me feedback, to reflect back to me what's working, what's not working, what did we learn, what did we not learn. Now, do remember that with Saturn, I believe, especially in Aquarius here, that we're looking at, being discerning around who we can trust, who is our circle of support that helps us feel safe, that allows us to be able to express ourselves in a very masterful way. So you do want to be discriminatory about who your audience is, at least in the first, I'd say, few days and maybe even couple weeks with Saturn stationing direct. And that's only because you don't want to come out the gate being defeated. If you just blurt out everything and and you're not even sure who your audience is, or let's just say it's somebody who is so counter to what you have been working on or what you believe, or that they're going to give you a hard time or whatever, it could defeat you before you ever really get started, right? So you want to be discriminatory about that. Now, this week, like I say, the sun and Mars, they're very fine friends. They're canoodling. And Sun and Mars actually are really good together. And in Libra, granted, not quite as energizing because Mars is more passive in Libra. However, the sun is life-giving and Mars is our use of will. And the sun is the father archetype and Mars is the warrior archetype. And so here comes that father warrior or warrior father energy and archetype coming together. And they're ready to be energized, ready to give us right use of will to be able to say, I want to fight for the things in relationship that is important to me. And we'll have the courage to have certain conversations and certain decisions that need to be made. I realize Mercury is retrograde this week. However, with the sun and Mars here, it is indicating that there are certain past decisions that need to be settled, that need to be made. And that if we can wrap this up, then we can move forward confidently with Mercury and Jupiter stationing direct on the same day, on the 18th. So we're leading up to this coming week where if we can make these decisions to really wrap up the past, put it behind us, and in particular, relationship issues. So if you are lingering with a divorce, it's time to wrap that shit up. If you are lingering with, do I stay, do I go? You need to make a decision. If this is a toxic relationship, it's time to let it go. If there's a particular issue that you and a beloved have not been able to work through, this is the week to hash it out so that next week, when Mercury and Jupiter are stationing direct and making this trine to each other, you can truly step out into the world and express yourselves in a big way. Now, I will say that there is a powerful energy this week as the sun will trine Jupiter as well it's on the 15th. And this provides opportunities for us to have more lighthearted, fun connections. And it invites us to review our belief systems one more time, our support systems. That's another big theme for this week, really looking at our support systems and the internal processes that have served us over the last few months. And Jupiter stationing direct 3 days later on the 18th will then give us the opportunity to express it in a bigger way to others. And it can offer great ideas. It can offer wonderful friendship. It can offer declarations of love. It can offer whatever it is that our soul is calling to us. Jupiter's the teacher. Jupiter's the spiritual guru. Jupiter's the expansive planet that wants to offer abundance and blessings. Of course, we have to watch out for extravagance. However, what we do want to do is we want to capitalize on these planets stationing direct and being able to express our gifts out into the world. We all have unique gifts, and it's important for us to embody them and to say, how may I serve? How can I use this gift for the betterment of the greater good? That's what we're really looking at. And of course, with all this Libra energy, we're looking at relationships, we're looking at our social lives, we're looking at friendships, we're looking at the connection or the relationships we have with all things, not just people. What's our relationship with money? What's our relationship with the belief system? What's our relationship with ourselves? And that's been the internal work that we've been doing. And this week in particular, we're at this halfway point with Mercury stationing direct on the 18th, and I'm recording this at the halfway point. And so what we're looking at now is to be able to really look at, what do I believe? What do I believe I deserve? That's another thing with Saturn stationing direct and then Jupiter following and Mercury following, is that we're looking at, what do I really deserve in my life? I deserve good things. Well, how do I get those good things? Well, I need to be of greater service. I need to be able to tap into my gifts and my skills and use them in a way that benefits not only myself, but those who are dependent on me, those who may not even know me, but those that I can interact with and trust that Spirit draws to us exactly who we need when we need it. And I love this mantra for this coming week. I'm always in the right place at the right time with the right people. I want to see how this goes. All right, you guys, come find me at jamiedawn.com. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and I look forward to hearing how this week goes for you. Have such a great week. Take care.